without further ado, we're going to talk about Wi-Fi Day 2024. And there we go. So from our this is actually our fifth annual Wi-Fi Day, which is actually really cool. I'm your host, Stu Goumans, and I've got Aniko, who's joining us from
Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia. Excellent. Well, I'm from Vancouver. You're from Melbourne. And I hear actually from Melbourne, we might be joining an event together up pretty soon, right?
That's right. So coming pretty much soon.
Yeah,
Next
coming. We got,
month.
if you want to meet us in person, we're going to be at Cisco Live. Now, one of the things, you got a great shirt on there called Sidekick. I actually have a Sidekick shirt, but it's actually called Toast. I don't actually get to wear this shirt too often, but because I'm hosting today, I get to wear the host colors today. That's kind of a rare shirt here at Ekahau. All right, so let's get started here. So now, Wi-Fi Day, we had a ton of speakers, right? Of course, myself and accompanied by the ever so famous Matt Starling, and of course we even brought in our CEO, President CEO of the company as well, which we'll see a little bit more about as well. That was Stephen By. Of course, we had some greats here from the AP vendors and antennas, and even of course the likes of folks of Amazon, Ventive, and Verizon Security. So let's, without further ado, let's get inside of what did we do, right? So why don't we talk about if you've managed a network, you've heard these before, right, Anna? Why don't we cover this topic here quickly here?
That's right. That's right. So actually, this is one of the things that I really like that was covered during the Wi-Fi day. It's because these are the questions that are being asked very often. So we can see that these questions are like the common questions that everyone is asking. Why my Wi-Fi is low? Why my device keeps on disconnecting? I can connect, but then it gets interrupted all the time. And then for all of the Wi-Fi network engineers that we have out there, of course, they always wonder how secure is their network, and of course they wanted to have to make sure that they have those layers of security in their Wi-Fi network. And then finally, of course, we always have these questions from different parts of the regions. How can we upgrade to the latest access points, especially now with the Wi-Fi 7 and the Wi-Fi 6E APs being released by those access point vendors? And of course, most countries of the Asia Pacific are now opening up the first half of the 6 gigahertz spectrum. I know for sure a lot of you are curious on how can we answer all of these questions. And yes, so it's great that we'll be covering it for today, right, Stu? Sorry, Stu, you're on mute.
You know what? I hit the mute button there by mistake as I was scrolling around. So it's you think it's been a bit of moment, eh? Hosting webinars again, yeah, for sure. I've always been the sidekick. Sidekicks too. So when you look at that, let's dive into some of those topics, right? And and then you talk about kind of the performance on the Wi-Fi slow. Well, one of the cool things that we talk about here is how easy it is to collect that data, because we need to collect that data effortlessly, right, and efficiently. And we're doing that now with our Just Go survey. So we've just released that a little while ago, back then about a year ago now. So we got Just Go survey, and it's been super popular, rave review, and we're continuously advancing more into that platform. We talk about adding more LiDAR functionality, and we've just getting started, right, of what we're doing in there. And of course, we can accompany that survey with a Just Go without any walls, any drawings, but we can also accompany that along with autopilot, continuous, stop and go, the old school. And of course, we can even add another map and add some GPS outdoor maps to that same project. So super cool thoughts of easy collection of data. And when you look at that collection of data to identify where Wi-Fi is slow, you're going to look at coverage issues. You're going to identify them. And we can actually do that now in AI Pro Online, which is actually super cool because it's now it's giving us a more defined view of what it is look at from that signal strength. I can go a little bit deeper into that. I can actually take that in the next step when I want to know where that Wi-Fi is slow, and I can actually say, well, do we have any signal interference issues, right? Where's the channel contention mitigated? Because there's things that you're going to see here where we've got maybe some performance issue from interference perspective. Is that making it slow? Is it the channel reuse? Is it just too many EPs? What could it be? We can actually go ahead and optimize that, right? And that's getting that performance. When we talk about optimization, and that's a great segue into our next slide, is that we talk about keeping those devices, my device keeps disconnecting, right? Well, I need to understand how can I look at improved signal coverage Adjust the minimum basic rate, maybe adjust the channel width, reduce channel interference, and issues and whatnot. Even get down into kind of the security issues. So these are things where we can look at a before and after. And when you see that on the screen there from that visualization improvement perspective, that actually helps tells that story is like, hey, what do I need to do? What are the best options for me to approach this? Now, we talk about security. Now, with security, folks, you're going to hear a lot more about that from us at Ekahau in the coming months because security is definitely important, especially when we get into the Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz or 6E and 7. And we're going to be talking. You're going to hear about that more. It's actually covered in a couple of talks actually within Wi-Fi Days. So if you're going to go through the actual recording, you'll actually see that as well. But from a security perspective, we want to understand if we're identifying rogues. We're locating that RF interference, and we're actually evaluating encryption strength, right? Now that's actually key because a lot of these things are overlooked a lot, and we need to make sure that we're doubling down on that. Now, when you've done all that cool stuff, well, what's next? Well, do I need to redesign? Do I need to augment it? Well, we've made it even easier to do that with Ekahau AI Pro Online. Now, which is available today, this particular piece here, we can go survey, grab that data, augment it, redesign it quickly. Now, if we're going to start from scratch, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in our next upcoming slides. But how you can actually do that upgrading and getting into that path, we've definitely got you covered there from from a design or rip and replace scenario. So let's look at, well, that's great, Stu, but you talked like, what's this workflow look like, right? I mean, that when we look at it from a workflow perspective, we're going to be grabbing our Sidekick 2. We're going to be going for that survey, and I need to understand, I need to walk that site. Going to go and throw it into the optimizer automatically and say, hey, these are the kind of things that we need to do before we implement that into the dashboard, make some changes. And of course, then we're going to be looking at AI Pro Online. Maybe we have to redesign that, and we can do that within minutes, right? And this is really takes on that time to we want to make sure that we're getting it right away, right? Because I don't what I find often in a lot of networks is that we sit on the data for too long, and we need to start working on it quickly. So as that how we're trying to speed up that process of that workflow, right, to make awesome Wi-Fi work better. All right, now from that we're gonna we had actually a great speaker come on, and actually this is Stephen Bai. So he is our president and CEO of Ookla, and he talked about how driving the connected experience, right, with Ookla, Speedtest, and Down Detector. And you're thinking like, wait a second, since when did all of these applications come into Ekahau's wheelhouse? Well, we're part of Ekahau. Ekahau is part of Ookla, right? And so that encompasses a number of different brands. And well, what does that mean? Well, we have a unique approach of getting some additional trusted results. Stephen covered how the unique brands actually are coming together and giving us unlimited way to optimize our connectivity goals for success. Now, when you talk about a better together strategy, we've got Ekahau, Speedtest, and Down Detector as a start. We're going to be talking about that designing best in class that you've known through us for Wi-Fi, but also taking that Sidekick data and applying it to AI Pro Online and adding AP manufacturer integrations. We'll be talking about troubleshooting and how to resolve issues quickly and on the spot troubleshooting, whether it's Sidekick 2, third-party outage monitoring with Down Detector and Speedtest. Now, from a monitoring perspective, we're going to be optimizing changes over time, right? Periodic Sidekick 2 data, right? We're going to be looking at health checks, and we're going to be looking at speed test, and then getting in that third-party monitoring with Down Detector. So a lot of cool things that are on the roadmap here, and some things that you're going to see very, very shortly. So let's go take a look at what some of that looks like. So, I'm just kind of go back here, folks. But I mean, adding of these product integration, let's ask the audience, Anna, were a lot of you guys actually aware that speed test and the Ookla brand was all part of Ekahau? Was that kind of familiar to most of you out there?
Yeah, we can hear, we can, yeah. Let's hear from you,
So,
Audrey.
so this
Oh.
is new information to some of you. Okay, so this is good. I mean, and I think that just to kind of to reiterate is that how much more powerful we can actually take the speed test app and down detector and start putting it into Ekahau, right? Giving you some, the tools that and be able to use it together. So this is great. I'm glad that we're covering this. This is actually good. So let's spend a little bit of time on this because as we get into our next slide or so, we're going to talk about kind of the product news and what is happening from a product perspective, right? So Miko and Vlad went together and talked about some of the new kind of tool sets that we've got, and they covered how we can level up your Wi-Fi, right? So obviously, let's talk about Sidekick. Anna, why don't you give us a quick overview of what the Sidekick is doing here today?
Yeah, so we all know that the Sidekick is the like ever so powerful Wi-Fi professional tool out there. But then what is really inside the Ekahau Sidekick 2? So we know that in the Ekahau Sidekick 2, it's very powerful. We have like 9 custom wideband antennas inside it. What I love in here is the all-day battery life. So it could last after you do your site survey, most probably it could last all day without having you to recharge it and then go back to your survey again. So it also has the four Wi-Fi radios inside it that can cover 2.45 and 6 gigahertz with just one go. I have folks asking me, does it mean that I have to do site survey 3 times if I have 2.45 and 6? So actually, no. With just one go, you will be able to do site survey for the 3 bands at the same time. And what Stu's favorite, of course, is the built-in spectrum analyzer inside it, which is very, very powerful. That has that supports tri-band, and of course, it supports 50 sweeps per second. Pretty powerful, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's really important, right? Is that spec and as we're going to see in a moment here, is how do we troubleshooting with ease, right? And from an analyzer perspective. So one of the things that we're doing here is this is a one kind of a one not one solution with all the troubleshooting information you need right at a glance. So with the Sidekick 2, we're able to kind of get a little bit deeper dive, right? So let's take a look at some of the things that we're going to be doing to expand that troubleshooting portfolio. So one of the things we're doing is obviously we're bringing in the speed test and analyzer together. Now, how cool is that, right? So for a speed test, let's see that in action, right? So let's go ahead. So what we're doing here is that we're bringing speed test into analyzer, and this is coming up very shortly. And we're going to be able to do some speed tests. And then you're going to see here, I can tell that the Wi-Fi is actually good, but the speed isn't great. And so we've got an infograph that's going to come up and say, well, hey, this is the SSID you're connected to, the channel, the megahertz wide, and the RSSI. But here's what's really happening. It's your ISP, it's your internet service provider that's causing the issue, right? So it's not just necessarily your Wi-Fi network, because I'm sure that's all a relief to many of you, is that, I can now disprove the issues with the Wi-Fi, right? It's not the Wi-Fi that's had the issue. And sometimes it is. Like sometimes it can be, but a lot of times it's not. So and that's where you're going to get in there now. Well, we've got that, right?
That's right. That's right. I think this one is a really, really good addition to our Ekahau product set of applications. Especially, I know for sure if the Wi-Fi folks are Wi-Fi engineers, Wi-Fi professionals are doing troubleshooting, they have to pull up 2 different applications for them to determine which one is having issue. So is it really the Wi-Fi or is it my ISP? But then my question here is too is this is just the speed test. How about video testing?
Ah, that's great. I'm glad you asked. Well, that's coming as well. So we can actually do from a video perspective is that because we know video is important today, whether that's going to be our streaming, our Netflix data, or video or real-time conferencing like a uh, WebEx, Zoom, Google Meet. This is when we need to test that. And so now we can not only testing the RF, the spectrum analysis, the Wi-Fi, but we're getting actually some data amounts, and you can see down on the screen there is where we're seeing, what is that bit rate? What's the packet ratio? And also, we're going to be adding some jitter to that as well, just to figure out, hey, are we actually seeing the right scores here? So this is a really important piece of that to have it in your toolkit to say, hey, what is it? Is it me or is it the internet? Right? You need to rule out some things, but if it's not the internet and it's you, then that's good because now you can go into that next level of troubleshooting, right?
That's
So
right.
super exciting things. But when you talk about, or is it maybe it's a website? It's the internet is good. So what if the Wi-Fi is good and the internet is good, but the site's down? And this is where down detector comes into play. You can easily go to where you're standing at any given place in the office and whatever it is, maybe next to the users are having the issues, and go, hey, you know what? I'm connected to the same API as you. Let's just check down detector. And sure enough, oh, look at that. YouTube has got us some issues, right? It could be the Amazon, it could be something internal. And look to see how we're going to expand this portfolio from a speed test, down detector, looking at your own network. So for those folks out there that would like to, have down detector, you got a larger networks in your portfolio, wouldn't it be great to have down detector monitoring your sites? And wouldn't it be great to have a local speed test running in your environment, right? So to test in the back end. So these are things that we're working on behind the scenes, and I think that you're gonna love all the extra integration that we've got coming. All right. Well, that's kind of one of the cool things there, and I want to make sure that we've got some questions in there. Did we have any actually questions come through yet?
Yeah.
I think we
Yes,
did. Did we
so
not? Yeah.
actually some interesting questions that we got is we've discussed about the future updates of the analyzer. So they are asking
Yeah.
if the Ekahau analyzer is included in the Ekahau Connect subscription.
Yeah. So the I can answer that pretty quickly. So the Ekahau Analyzer will be included in the Ekahau Connect subscription. So don't worry, it'll appear as a new app. Oh, no, it'll appear as an addition into the app. So it'll be an app update, of course. Yes, for sure. And I think a couple of the other ones here, we've had a couple. So does Sidekick 2 support 6E and 7? Yes, it does. It's in the spec. That it already supports it today with the latest firmware. And what you're going to see is an app update on our app side to display the sign Wi-Fi 7 and 6E. Now it'll show 6E today right away, but Wi-Fi 7 is what we're looking at. And let me just see here. Is it possible to have the speed test auto while doing survey? Yeah. So wouldn't that be nice to have, right? So hold that thought, right? Any plans on bringing design features from AI Pro to iOS? So not from a design perspective, it's a little more intense, but I think if you, we'll show you a little bit what's happening here and you'll be able to see in just a moment. And a couple of last ones here we'll take here is, we'll take the last one here. You've got any integration for Thousand Eyes in troubleshooting forward. Um, I don't have an answer for you right now, but we can get back to you on that one. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on here. We're going to talk about AI Pro Online, and this is actually how we can get to some more real-time measurements, right? So we grabbed all that real-time measurements that we had there, and we're going to bring it into the fold, right? So how do we do that? So some of the cool things that we're doing here from an AI Pro Online perspective is that this is next-gen predictive Wi-Fi, right? We're doing precise modeling. Where now you can see reflections and diffractions right out of the box. So if you're familiar with AI Pro, the desktop version, you had to enable a button, you had a little bit more CPU intensity to show the visualizations, right, with the GPU and whatnot. Well, now we're doing it from a browser perspective. We have so much more power in that we can do it even easier with ease. So you're going to get that along with automatic wall detection and material recognition that we're looking at from a CAD perspective. PDF, PNG, and JPEG, we got better at reading those walls. We can do those drawings for you. Seamless multi-floor design alignment. This is actually something that we covered a little bit more in depth on the webinar, where if you've got a floor, you don't have to worry about where it's stacked anymore in alignment. You just need to line up the graphic and it'll show it in there. So that's a really cool feature that you'll see on if you want to take a deeper dive in that. AI assisted planning based on your selected APs requirements. So you've gotten used to AI Pro planning APs. We've now upped that game some more with some other intelligence based on your survey or on the plan that we can actually read better. And we're adding some more AI assisted pieces to that, which is super cool. All right. Now, all this super coolness it doesn't come easy, but what I mean by that is that if you really want those precise measurements and you really want to know what's going on in your environment, go ahead and work with this new step. So if we're going to go and grab AI Pro Online today, we're going to work on our design. We've got it all ready to go. We've prepared it. We're going to share it. We've already deployed it. Now we're going to go and survey that environment, right? Go survey it. We figure out where our access points are. We know what's happening. We may need to know once we've done that, we take it into the design, any changes that we need to make. Yeah, we can augment some channels here. Let's change the power a little bit more. We didn't foresee that brick wall or stone wall over here. Let's add that in. So you got a needle workflow here, making it much easier for you to cover you for your design, right? You want to close that loop for survey project preparation. Now, what is coming soon? This is a super cool feature, and I know everyone's been asking this for years, is a 3D visualization. Now we've always been able to do 3D planning from a or from a linear point of from a top-down point of view. We already know that. That's already been based into our calculations forever. But wouldn't it be great to show that three-dimensionally visually? And so now the team has been able to do that. And so now you're going to see this, and you're also going to see some verifying object dimensions relative to distances, AP, a 3D AP pattern representation for all AP antenna models. And that's actually cool. So what you're seeing there is not the final product, folks. There's got some more cool stuff coming very shortly, and I mean very shortly. And of course, extended modeling capabilities. When you're having one of the things I've always asked for, and I've been able to do this, and I know you've been, Anna, we talked about this before, is designing for like stadiums and theaters, right? It's always complicated. How do we represent and visualize the access point coming down? I mean, yeah, I hope you can see on my camera, I'm trying to visualize this, but if we say that this is my little access point here, and it's trying to visualize it, how do we get the and the clients down over here, right? How do we actually make sure we get to that? Well, we need to visually see that, and we're doing that now within this kind of stadium type environment, sort of complex attenuation, right? You'll see that, and then we can have an overhang. We know where the APs are going to be installed. We can actually add that into the design, and then we know some easier way to define AP mounting positions. So it's we spend a lot of time in the field with our customers. We figured out, hey, this is where we need to kind of spend some more time on that. So look for this feature coming shortly. I'm super excited about this and a lot of the use cases as well.
Absolutely. I am also looking forward for the 3D feature as well too. And I see a few people from the chat is like messaging us already. This is a
Right?
nice this is the feature that we've been looking forward to.
For a little while, yes. Absolutely. But it is hard work to actually get this done right. And like I say, we would have come out with this about a year and a half ago or so, but we weren't ready because we really wanted to get it right the first time, just like how we design Wi-Fi, right? So now let's give you a little bit of secret of what's already in the pipeline. We've got some live heat maps via API data. Now, what the heck is that? All right. So what this means is that we're able to now grab that data from the Meraki dashboard, the Catalyst Center or Aruba Central, and I believe the Mist, but it will be and Extreme. But all of those dashboards will be able to grab that data, bring in what we see live happening, and display a heat map based on the already where we know the access points are. So we can actually look at that and help visualize that, right? And then correlate some data. So you're going to see some correlating data between the live heat maps and the API data. This is super cool stuff. This is like, this is like futuristic already, right? More powerful inspect mode is coming. 5G planning. Now, I know some of you out there have been doing 5G private networks today. It has been a bit slow to take off, and I think globally, but it's actually starting to pick up some steam. But what we do is we were actually first to deploy a private 5G planner some time ago. And then we said, you know what, let's bring it into the fold of AI Pro Online. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing early I believe early in January or January timeframe or as soon as next year. 2025, we're going to be bringing in that particular feature right into AI Pro Online, so you can actually start doing both simultaneously if you wanted to. And bill of materials. I know a lot of folks want to make sure that they have a proper bill of materials they can print out based on the access points in the design, right? And custom reporting. I know, Hannah, you've been hammering me about this for years, right? Like, I need better custom reporting. Well, we're giving it to you. This is actually going to be a little bit easier because with the new type of environment that we're using here, it's going to be able to quantify that much easier. All right. And now another cool thing is enterprise tier. Now, what this is, enterprise tier is a little different. So what it is, we've got a number of customers that have 50, 100, 200 licenses. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, we have a lot of those customers, and they need a proper way to manage their licensing structure and their inventory. So what we do is we've got a couple of things that we're doing. We're going to be introducing single sign-on. So those are folks that are using maybe Okta integration or a different third-party applicator, right? And then we're going to be adding in data management, right? So you got a single sign-on from access control, and I'll just actually just kind of swing into access control here. So Anna, what we're doing also on the screen is that we've got from single sign-on, but also from a sharing perspective, we can actually control the restrictions. So we know only share with trusted users. That means your users that you want, so by an actual email address, or share only within organizations, and disable sharing, right? So there's some level of control that we're putting in there. And I guess, yes, single sign-on for security, 90-day password expiration as well for the standard users. And let's go over to data management quickly, and we'll talk about how we can do manage, restore all data, users' data, etc. And that's going to be kind of cool because you're looking at change history, whether I delete a project file, would I going to put it back? It happens, right? Well, now as an administrator, you can go back and look at that. And of course, license management, which is cool. Manage all those organizational licenses, right? We're going to talk about from a Sidekick perspective, how can I utilize my licenses better? Maybe I have some people on my team that aren't utilizing the licenses enough that they're not using it. Well, I might as well move it to a new team member who's really excited about Wi-Fi and wants to get started in their current stuff. Well, let's move that license over. You now have that power. Right. So this is coming soon from a dashboard perspective for yourselves. And of course, premium support. This is a new piece coming, premium customer support with 24-hour access, 24/7, 365. So this is actually a different SLA so that if you do need that access for support, maybe you got some design issue, you got trouble with something, whatever it might be, we're out there to make sure that we've given you, get you the support that you need, right? And and that brings us into kind of the product, an Ekahau product news from Wi-Fi Day. So we talked about from an analyzer perspective, we talked about how we're going to integrate the speed test and the down detector profiles into analyzer. We're going to add from an Ekahau AI Pro Online, we're going next gen predictive Wi-Fi design and auto detection walls, multi-floor alignments and whatnot. And of course, the 3D view, which everyone loves. Now, and of course, what I just mentioned on the previous slide is the enterprise tier. All right. So those are some of the kind of the product highlights. There was a couple of Easter eggs in there. So if you do go back and watch it, look for those Easter eggs because there is a couple. Now, we had some great speakers. And just to name a few, obviously we had the HP, Boingo, Cisco, Amazon, Verizon Security, and of course Ventive and Alexis from Digital Byte, and she was actually doing the online giveaway, which is great. And of course Miko and Vlad. Now let's talk about quickly. We had Dobius from HP Aruba, right? And he talked about kind of that the navigating the 6 GHz wave. Now, his presentation was really cool because he started to dive into kind of that comprehensive strategy, right? Of what we're going to be doing from an implementation perspective. What are those requirements now, and what do we have to take? What type of approach we have to take from a 6C to a 7? Because we're now into a different world than we were before. Most countries are coming online with the channels, and now being able to. I think in your region, if we kind of ask that question, Anna, I think in your region there, you've got most of the channels for 6. Is it available, or you still have a few not quite parity with the
That's
American?
right. Actually, when Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz started opening up in Asia Pacific, we only have like 6 countries overall in Asia Pacific that's starting to like take advantage of 6 GHz or has announced that they
Yeah.
will be using 6 GHz. But now it's a lot of Asian countries are like opening up and getting ready for the first half of the 6 GHz. So
Perfect. Yeah. And I suspect that that's going to start, it's going to come faster than we think, right? It's going to be as we start to move a lot of those older legacy products out, legacy people using 6 GHz, rather. Security transitions is definitely going to be a challenge, and he covers that along with client compatibility. So definitely you want to listen to that in more depth for sure.
mhm.
We also heard from Derek Peterson. So Derek is new to the Well, I guess we did have him on. Did we have him on? No, we didn't. We did have him on a webinar, I think, at one point. But in any event, he's new kind of to the Wi-Fi day, but he's a CTO of Boingo. So Boingo, you guys might have heard of, or the audience might have heard of. They provide internet at different large public venues, shopping arcades, malls, or even airports. Right, you're going to see them quite a bit. So he had a kind of interesting take on connectivity in complex environments and innovation of kind of performance operations. So I def optimization. So I definitely you might want to definitely check him out as well. Uh, Jim Florwick. Everyone, Jim Florwick is a famous name when it comes to kind of the spectrum analysis point of view, especially in setting standards and that with Wi-Fi. Now, Jim comes with he's actually going to battle right now with making sure that we talk about automated frequency coordination, or AFC is most commonly known as, and how we're going to look at standard power in 6 gigahertz, how that power and enabling that higher power for outdoor use, and AFC balances whatnot. We're going to be looking at power use cases, and he talks about the Cisco integration that we've got with Ekahau today, and that's part of how we're partnering with Cisco today on doing the Cattle Center and the Meraki dashboard. And if you think that we're doing, only a little bit of integrations today, stay tuned, folks. We got some cool stuff happening on that front, and more expansion on that. And if you are attending Cisco Live in Melbourne, I just a kind of a plug. I do know, shameless plug. I do know that he's going to be down there for that. So if you guys are in there, all right, and you can get a selfie with the three of us. How about that? Come by the booth, right? Now, Brian Searcy. Okay. So Brian Searcy, he's been on our Wi-Fi day in the past, and he does Amazon events. So you would think like, what is Amazon doing Wi-Fi events? What is? I thought they were selling stuff from warehouses and getting your product to your door. Well, actually, they do a lot more than that. They've got manufacturing, they've got warehouses, they've got a number of things, but they also do events, and their events are massive. So take a look at one he talks about is AWS Summit in London, which was the kind of the reInvent piece, and it's a localized event for a couple of days. And he has 22,000 people for 2 days. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? And sometimes he does it even for one day only. But imagine getting those expo halls ready with over 320 access points up, understanding the power level, improving performance. He doesn't have a lot of time, but he talks about how quickly he has to deploy this.
Mhm.
That's
And
super.
then for this events too, am I right? So you've been present in one of the events with Brian?
Yeah, that's right. I have. Yeah. So I did a Amazon reInvent in November of 2023 in Las Vegas. And there must have been, there was a heck of a lot more people at that one for sure. But and I think there was about 34,000 people or so, but it was massive. And the expo hall, the specific APs that he had installed there, super cool. He talks about that in one of our webinars where he talks about making a chandelier AP, right? It's really cool. He's doing some next level stuff. And it was always an honor to kind of be on his team, supporting him and the Mist team and whatnot, kind of working our way to like how's that network working, right? Like, and using the sidekick to give we had like 4 or 5 sidekicks out in the field. We were walking around grabbing data, giving it back into the subject matter expert, which is Brian, right? He's in mission control, and we're giving the data, he's analyzing it quickly, and we're going out there capturing stuff visually. So he's got some really cool skill sets there. And his webinar was great. His session was great. Dennis has, if you guys don't know Dennis, he's from Ventive, and he covers, and he's senior product manager for making antennas. So he's the guy that actually solders that stuff, puts it together. He makes the concepts and then goes to manufacturing. So he's a very hands-on guy, and he does a lot of custom use type antennas. And he talked about kind of the use cases of external antennas, are critical for specific design and weather environments and types of scenarios, like looking for foliage and looking for trees. How do you design? How do you account for those dB loss? Right? How can you use Ekahau to do that? And that was a great session as always from them. Security. We talked about the kind of the 3 steps from a security perspective, how to defend yourself. And this is actually Jennifer Manila, founder of Isa Security. Now, as I said, security is top of mind, folks. You really need to get into this because she talks about kind of that exploit and mitigation and mitigation, exploitation and mitigation of wireless networks. And she's stressed that hackers are typically exploit-based vulnerabilities. I mean, when you think about it, it's like anything that's on Wi-Fi today, you have to really lock it down to a point that, like, oh, where is that data going? Is it all straight going out of the internet? Fine. But is it anywhere touching your internal network? You're giving away internal corporate secrets out inside, or whatever it might be. You have to really pay attention to now. And on that part, and Jennifer is more commonly known as JJ. She actually showcased kind of some cool things that she's done on our side of helping us on the Ekahau create a new security on demand training, right? And which is kind of great because it goes into my next slide. And actually, there is a book that she does have. So if you do look her up, I don't have her site on there, but I know she has it on the Wi-Fi day there. But she does have a free book you can download on wireless security. You might want to check that out. Um, but definitely JJ helped us in the kind of the formation of the security training. So we do have two new trainings that we want to add in. So we got we'll top off with our 4-day instructor led, which is our ECSE design. We have our ECSE troubleshooting, and that kind of gets into more of kind of troubleshooting wireless aspects. Advanced, we're taking a deeper dive and exploring some echo reporting and whatnot, and some deeper design stuff. Then we've got our recertification course. So if you already have an ECSE course design and you're let expire, you can take a self-paced video training and renew yourself, or you can take a new course and you'll automatically renew your license for the other one as well. Quick start training, we've got some on demand there, and of course the new Measure. So to accompany the new Measure license, Measure, actually we did a video training series, which is really cool because now we can go and know how to measure properly, what data to collect, where to collect it, and what to keep an eye out for. And that segues into the security side as well, because security is like, well, what are some of the things I need to be looking out for in security while I'm gathering that data? Doing PCAP captures? How do I understand that PCAP? Where is that? Where should we go and look for those things? What are the kind of the clues that help you identify some security risks? So that is kind of a nutshell on from the kind of more of an unpacking the kind of the training
And
environment.
then and I think this is really really great, Stu. It's because Ekahau continuously on board or releases new types of training for different use cases. I just got a question here from the Q&A asking about the support and helping with the design, and most probably some others are curious too on how they will get started on doing site surveys, on doing designs, on doing or enhancing their Wi-Fi security. So with Ekahau, as you can see in the slides that Stu was explaining, so you can see that we have a lot of training options available. So from the ECSE certifications, we also have like the video on demand trainings wherein you wanted to like just learn on specific like doing measurements or doing security, which are available. And of course, on top of that, Stu is always doing the monthly webinars that we have. So you can always rewatch all of the webinars on demand in our website. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of resources that you can access with Ekahau.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of we even have a free playbook, right? I'll leave this up on the screen here. And as you can actually scan that and download those kind of cool best practices. I think you definitely want to have this to kind of overview and review for sure. And now one of the things, and we leave this up here on the screen there for everyone, is I'm going to take a quick look. And I think I saw something in the question there from I think it's LDN, does the 3D view also available for the both predictive design and the actual site survey? And the question, so I can give you the answer is it will be for the predictive design. I cannot comment on the actual site survey yet, but stay tuned. All right. So that's a great question for sure. Now, obviously, we've got a ton of other little announcements upcoming. We do have a webinar that we are going to be broadcasting. Actually, we got another webinar coming up on the 17th, I believe it is. And that new webinar, and I think, do we have a slide for that? I think we do, actually. Um, we might not have it actually here. Hang on. I can actually find that, but I'll just leave that up there for a second here. And I know we have another webinar coming up very shortly. And it is going to be, we're going to be talking a little bit about design. So it is, and I can't quite bring that up here, but we're going to be talking about some design. It's going to be kind of bewitching the strategies of maximizing performance. And I can't say everything about that webinar yet because we're still about a little ways away from posting that. But that one will be coming up. And what's going to be interesting with that one is actually kind of cool is that both Matt and I are going to be broadcasting that from a mysterious location. So stay tuned for that one if you guys can make it at that time zone. But um, definitely from a Wi-Fi perspective, from the Wi-Fi day, I hope that you guys all enjoyed kind of this session as a recap. Now you know where to kind of go and look for certain content if you want to focus on it. So definitely go in, and I encourage you to do that. So with the last few minutes here, I want to kind of to jump. Do we have any other questions in the queue? Anyone else have any questions they might want to ask me while we're here?
Yes, just keep on posting your questions while we have Stu here. And again, I just wanted to reiterate. So if you are coming to one of the events of Cisco next month, so that would be the Cisco Live Melbourne. So you can meet Stu there personally. I know I have some folks asking. When I was in Cisco Live for the last 2 years, there are folks asking, when is Stu flying down to Melbourne? So finally, we'll have it this year, so you'll get to meet Stu. Yeah, in our Cisco Live Melbourne this year. So hope to meet you there personally.
Perfect. So now we still have everybody here for the last couple minutes. Would you guys like me to show you a little bit about AI Pro Online live ad hoc right now? Can I get a thumbs up, yes or no in the chat? You guys want to hang around for 2 minutes? And
Yes.
yes? Yeah, is that good? Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do some quick kind of showing you what it is we can do and make sure I can share my desktop one more time here. Let's do share, share, and let's pick the screen, and it's going to be yes, this one right here, Safari. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and let's move that out of the way. Okay, you guys can see my screen now. Is that coming through, Anna?
You can see it clearly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so folks, this is the new dashboard, right? If you're going to be looking at the new dashboard, you're going to see a lot of cool things here. We've got the AI Pro, the AI Pro Online, and this will actually take you right there. And of course, Insights, Optimizer, 5G planning, and sort of these are all kind of the Ekahau apps just to kind of get you started so you know where they are. So this is the new landing page if you haven't seen it. Secondly, we've actually got in kind of sites and projects. We're going to be expanding this a little bit more, but you're seeing this today is where we can look at different pieces like, hey, like I can go right to here and go, how did I do this particular survey here, right? So let's go and take a look at that. And oh, hang on, there we go. And then we've got, so let's bring that up now. So what I'm doing here is I have a particular environment, and with the magic of everything, I'm just going to actually delete all of these here for a second here because I don't need those. But now what I've done is I've got all of these devices. These are all the APs that I surveyed. And so I did an actual survey here, and they all show up here, and they can see exactly from the survey how these access points were detected. I know that they're a Cisco Meraki. I know they're an MR, whatever model they are. And I even captured the serial number, believe it or not, because I can synchronize that dashboard. Isn't that cool? But is not only do I know a little bit more about the CP, but watch this. I can move this around, and I already know what it looks like for the attenuation of this AP. So if I decide to move this access point, I already know what it's going to do. I don't even have to move it yet. I can already see it because I've already walked this AP. Sorry, I've already walked this environment. I know what the attenuation of these walls are, and I know if I decide to move this access point, that's what it's going to be like. Now you're saying, well, what if I did that rip and replace and changed all those APs? Not a problem. Let's do that. So I'll just select my access points, and I can go ahead and say, you know what? Change those access points to a different model number. So let's say, hey, I want to go to Cisco Meraki, but then I want to take it up to the 9166 because that's super cool, right? So now I just did that. It replaced them all in a matter of seconds. And isn't that cool? Because now I've got this access point here, and I'm looking at it at 6 gigahertz, and that's already with data I've captured from the Sidekick 2. The Sidekick 2 already knows how that AP is going to perform. I haven't even deployed it yet. I didn't do AP on a stick. I didn't do any of that. All I needed to do was just take a quick survey of the existing environment, and I already know that if I need to move that new access point that I haven't deployed yet, is it going to be in the most optimal position? Do I need to add another one? Do I need to increase some more access point to help with that particular area? Do I need to tidy it up with the optimization of the channel planning? Yeah, let's do that. Why not, right? I'll optimize that. Now it's going to analyze that project. It's going to go through and change the channels. Boom, done. I have now just configured some issues that were already existing in that network, and now I'm ready to go. Finish, and now I've got a nice plan. You notice that it's turned off a couple of those 2.4 radios that I don't need. It's configured my 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz network. It's even appropriately put it at 80 megahertz wide, right? That'll run just fine in that place. No problem there. So this is where you get to see where your pass rate is, any other floors. You could, even if you wanted to, you could look at some other advanced settings. And maybe I change this to a different antenna pattern. Let's see down in here. I don't think I can see in the, I can see in the directional. Hang on here.
While
No.
you're on that, Stu,
Yes.
I think it's really great because I get a lot of questions from our customers wherein they wanted to figure out or they wanted to check how it will look like if they will be replacing their access points with new
Yeah.
ones. They wanted to upgrade. They do not want to change the physical location of the APs. They wanted to check if they will just replace this access point with a new
Well,
model. Will it work for my network or not?
Well, yeah, and that's what I was just doing here, right? Because I already have an existing network of those APs, and now I can deploy it, right? I can see that. And even actually from an antenna perspective, I will now be able to see if I'm going to put an external antenna or other types of antennas in here, whether it's a standard one, I'll be able to show you what it looks like from a three-dimensional perspective, right? So there you go. You got a question here. AI Pro and Sidekick does not support Cisco Curb for AMR big issue, but let me know. Yes and no, Kevin. Curb is a little bit of a different type of a deployment. And so the short answer is yes, it will be. You just have to hang on just a little bit. But Curb has not quite made its huge deployment yet. It's only been in a not really out there, but long and short of it is yes, that it will be supported. All right, but yes, like for those folks there looking at their design there, I can go ahead and I'll just delete that again. But here's my current APs, right? These are my current access points, and that they're all detected. And yes, I can actually replace this with a new AP just to see if I'm going to still meet the requirements, right? And it's going to use the same channel and power and everything, just so we're not changing anything. There's no witchcraft or wizardry here. This is actually showing exactly what it's going to look like. Yeah. So those are some of the cool things that we're doing from an AI Pro perspective and the AI Pro Online, which will be available shortly. You'll be able to see a little bit more about that and have some fun playing with it. So with your all those folks that are having a Ekahau Connect subscription, you'll be able to access that right away. All right. Excellent. Well, that's all I have about that. I hope everyone has actually had a great time joining and seeing some of some cool stuff. And if you've got any other further questions that you guys want to ask, please don't hesitate to email us. Anna's here. She can always interface with Anna. She's in your time zone, but I'm actually coming in from the Vancouver region, so it's what is it? Approaching 8 o'clock p.m. tonight, so it's dark outside already. But I always like doing these nighttime webinars, so they're a lot of fun for sure. So we got a last minute question here from okay, reporting an AI Pro template based. Yeah, so right now it is template based. Obviously, we're doing that in AI Pro, absolutely. But AI Pro Online is going to be a whole new template and customized piece. So we know that customers have a lot of custom templates. Our first go at it will be standard templates, and then we're going to be going to beyond that as well. Excellent. Well, it's great from all of you actually joining today. And stay tuned for those webinars. Please join us out. And if you guys like to hear, you guys, and I put this as a question to you guys. If you guys have a topic that you want us to cover, and we can do a specific webinar in your region, whatever it is, please let us know. Reach out to Anna, let me know. And because everyone designs differently in each region, and there's always different challenges and whatnot. I want to know more about that, right? And let's dive into that. Let's see what you guys are going to battle with each day. So if you've got a topic, make sure that you send that over. All right.
Yes, please let us know.
Okay. Great, folks. Until then, we will talk soon. And thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining, everyone. I hope you had a great day today. Thank you so much, too, for accommodating us in APAC time zone.
That's right. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Okay, guys. See you guys
everyone.
soon, hopefully in a month's time. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, everyone.